David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another review. I've mentioned this a few times recently, but one of my favorite aspects of any pen show is discovering something new. It might be a new company or something that's just new to me, but something new to get excited about. I made a number of discoveries at the recent DC Pen Show, and it's one of those companies that I wanted to discuss today. And that company is the Galen Leather Company. What I'm going to do is talk a bit about the history of the company, then I'm going to have 3 of their products that I wanted to show you. And thanks go out to Galen for providing these items for review. There will be a link in the notes below to the Galen site where you'll be able to see these, as well as many other items as well. I am going to spend a little more time than usual discussing the company history here, so please bear with me. I feel the backstory is very important, and when I'm done, I think you'll understand why. The Galen Leather Company is based out of Istanbul, Turkey, and was founded by a woman by the name of Zeynep Prens. Zeynep had a career in advertising and sales. Back in 2012, her life had changed dramatically. She was diagnosed with a rare type of cancer. The byproduct of the initial medical treatments she was receiving was that she would be incapable of speaking for approximately a year. So she wasn't going to be able to continue in her current job. And with the inability to speak, she sought out a new career and decided to sell leather goods online. The Galen Leather Company was born. She had some ideas for some products and found a vendor who could create them for her. She could communicate with her customers and run her company via email, and so it worked out rather well. Her brother Yusuf even joined the company. The company grew and earned some early success, but they found that their vendor couldn't meet their increasing demand. So Zeynep and Yusuf actually learned the skills necessary to produce high-quality leather products and brought their production in-house. Zeynep's health improved, she regained her speech, and the company grew. I wish the next chapter in the Galen story was a happy one, but unfortunately it was not. Fast forward to 2019, and while the company was succeeding, sadly, Zeynep's health deteriorated, and in July of this year, only a couple of weeks before the DC show, she passed away, leaving behind her husband Yunus and their young son. Now, Yunus stepped up to help run the company, and the decision was made to still attend the DC show as planned. Their table was one of the hits of the show. Not because any attendees or many attendees knew of the company's story, but because their products were of high quality and really stood out. At the show, the Galen table was filled with joy and happiness. Yunus's smile was contagious, and their young son helped out behind the table as well. They handed out Turkish coffee and homemade Turkish treats that were delicious. And there was such a positive vibe coming from their table. It was something that really could be felt throughout the show. Okay. Thank you for taking the time to listen to that background. I hope you realize why I felt it was important. So, what about these leather goods was it that made them to be the talk of the show? So, let's take a look at a few. And in order to do that, please join me over here at camera 2. To begin with, at the show, Galen did a really good job of marketing themselves. When you made a purchase, you received this canvas bag for you to carry your goodies around. So as you walked around the show, you literally saw dozens and dozens of people with these. So it was a real smart marketing move. I have 3 Galen products I'm going to show you today. First up is this compact beast. It is called the Leather Zippered 40 Slots Pen Case. Like all of their leather goods, this is handmade and available in a number of different finishes. I'm not certain what this particular finish is called. I believe it might be a finish that was only available at the shows, but not currently available on their site. They have on there something somewhat similar called Crazy Horse Brown, but that one's a bit more of a reddish brown. This is a very soft leather, almost suede-like. On the back, it's actually stamped with the Galen Leather Company logo. The name Galen actually has dual meaning. It refers to a precious stone that Zeynep was fond of, as well as a reference to the ancient Greek physician and philosopher Galen. This zipper has a unique design it wraps around, but then there is a little flap here on the end. And so you undo that with its Velcro, and once you do that, you can lay this flat. That I really like that there is a flap separating each of the 10 pen sides. The material on the inside is very soft. And the flap is there is nice so that your pens won't bang against one another when this case is closed. This elastic feels very secure. It seems to me that it will last for a very long time. Just as a comparison, I utilize a number of these somewhat inexpensive 48 pen cases, but the elastic in these is rather cheap and can stretch out. Plus, it's sometimes really hard to get large pens in here. The loops in the Galen will easily fit large pens like... Let's see here. We have a Classic Pens LB5, which is basically just slightly larger than a Sailor King of Pen. That fits in there just fine. We have something like the ASC Bologna Arco, which is a very large pen that fits in there just fine. Even a smaller pen like this Pilot Stella 90S fits in there just fine as well. And it accommodates even some of my longest pens. This Franklin Christoph Model 66 is one of the longest pens in my collection, and it fits that just fine. Now, I do have this Namiki Emperor, which is my largest pen in my collection. While it does accommodate it here very easily within the elastic, it's a little bit longer than what I would like to have here. It extends out just a little bit, and also it would kind of have a risk of rubbing up against this zipper, which I don't want to risk. But if that's the case, then it will actually fit just fine in this lower section, and then there's no risk of it rubbing up against that zipper. And so that it fits well here in the outer storage area. So unless you have something larger than an Emperor that you need to carry around, this case will accommodate it in just about every configuration. This pen case retails on the Galen Leather website for $95, which I feel is a very reasonable price for a piece of quality leather goods. The stitching on this, we'll even get a little bit closer. The stitching is very nice. It's very high quality craftsmanship, and this is a case that's going to this is a case that's going to last you a lifetime. I don't foresee this thing falling apart anytime soon, even with heavy wear and tear. Okay, next up, we have some paper. I have a 3-pack of their A5 Tomoe River notebooks. Again, in regard to marketing, I love this little pouch that the notepads come in. It's something that I'll use even after the notebooks are long gone. This is, we'll unzip it, and there's a few things inside here. We'll just set this aside. This is what the notebooks look like. I really like the graphics on this design on this cover. These notebooks come in 4 different sizes. This is the A5, which is the largest of the 4. Each has 128 pages of 52-gram white Tomoe River blank paper, which is one of my favorite papers. It really performs outstanding, and I just really love the feel of it as well. The pages are thin, but they're sturdy. I'll show you a little bit of writing in one of these notebooks here in a bit, but it performs just like any other standard 52-gram Tomoe River paper, which is very nice. A couple of cool things that are included in with the notebooks. First of all, there are these grid lines here, and this is something I've actually found myself using a lot, especially when I write letters. When I write letters, I usually use loose leaf blank A5 Tomoe River paper, and for the longest time my spacing and lines would be all off, but I started using guides like these to basically make sure that I could write in a straight line. And what happens is you have your notebook here, and then you just literally put it under one of the pages, and now you can see that the lines are visible so that you can follow the line and at least write a little bit straight. I find these to be useful. There's also a grid one in a large grid and a shorter grid, and this is 2 different variances on the lined paper. Also included is this thin piece of material. I feel like it's a thin piece of leather. I'm guessing it is. One side is very smooth and the other side is a little bit rougher. Let me take that off of there. But this could be used in two different ways. It could be utilized as a blotter in between the pages, or you could actually use it as a writing mat, which is very nice and soft in order to keep the oils from your hand off of the paper. Because especially on a paper like this Tomoe River, sometimes if you're writing, basically as you're writing, you're getting oils on from your hand on the paper. So as you get further down, then your pen might not perform as well, basically because there's some more oil on the paper here. And this helps prevent that from happening. Plus, it just feels really nice. A set of 3 notebooks retails for $32, which I feel is reasonable for the notebooks of this quality in addition to the other things that you receive. Okay, finally, I wanted to show you an item that I feel I'm going to get the most use out of, and that is this A5 notebook cover. There is a lot I like about this. First of all, I'm really liking how already it's getting a bunch of marks on here. I just feel like it really adds to the character of this leather like this. Like the 40 pen case, these are available in a number of different leather styles. Some are slicker and smoother, and some are softer like this one here. Just like the other case, I really like the soft feel of this cover. This is a heavy-duty zipper that's on here. This zipper is not messing around. And when you open it up and lie it flat, one of the A5 notebooks fits here on this side of the cover. It actually just slides right on in. And you can see here that I've actually been using this to write a couple of reviews. But the Tomoe River 52 gram paper is one of my favorite to write on. It's one that I just really enjoy and it performs fantastic. In the middle portion here, there is a key fob, and on the other side is basically all of the storage. There are 2 large loops here that are plenty big enough to accommodate the largest of pens. You can see here that it even accommodates a Namiki Emperor. And that then there is this removable insert right here that can hold up to 4 pens. And I actually really like that this is removable. While you're using this notebook, when you can write on when you're writing on the right-hand side of the page, it's not an issue. But if you're storing a number of pens over here, then it can be a little bit bumpy and uncomfortable to write on the left-hand side. If you remove this insert, as well as not have pens right here, then it's actually not much of an issue to be able to write on here, and it's significantly more comfortable. There are 4 credit card slots, as well as a large pocket here in the back. There's also room under the flap, and then there's a large pocket here behind this as well. Actually here, included in here, this is not included, this is something a little bit separate, but this is kind of a cool, it's a ruler and a letter opener that's made of brass that Galen offers as well. I believe these are $13 on their site, and I think it has a unique look that matches well with the notebook cover. Now, I'll just actually slide that here. I kind of like the looks of it in there. Now, there are a couple of downsides about this cover. If you have a larger pen that you store in this portion here, there could potentially be a couple of issues. This zipper here is rather sharp. And so, for example, while my Emperor will fit in here comfortably, I'd have a fear that as I was taking it in and out here, that it might scrape against this zipper and potentially scratch the finish on the pen. Also, while I think this key fob looks really nice, if you have a pen right here, that I have a feeling that I really wouldn't want this metal ring to be banging around against the pen, or if you had a key in here, I wouldn't want that banging around the pen as well. I guess if you really wanted to, you could actually flip this out and have it on the outside to carry it, or to have a key on the outside if you really wanted to do that. But it's actually easy enough to remove. And that I think that's what I'm going to do with this, because I actually have something else that I would like to put in here, which is this. This is the Evil Eye. that this was something that Galen was handing out at their table. The evil eye is a part of Turkish folklore. The gaze of an evil eye would bring harm to your enemies. Let me go ahead and get this off here. And this little bauble here represents an evil eye. On one morning of the show, I can't recall if it was Saturday or Sunday, but Eunice's son had on his own gone out and put these evil eyes on every single table at the show. Not in an effort to promote their company, but just to be nice and to share something and to spread goodwill, which was nice to see. But I think that my evil eye should actually have a home right here. So I am going to put it here in my notebook. There we go. And there we have the evil eye. This handmade leather notebook cover sells for $119 on Galen's site, and I have no issue with that price. I feel that that's a fair price for what you receive here. Again, like the 40 pen case, this is a notebook cover that will most likely last you a lifetime. It's well crafted, and it's built to take a beating. Like I mentioned before, I'll put a link in the notes below. I encourage you to take a look at the Galen site. They have a wide variety of other items as well. They have a writing box that I really need to pick up. I should have bought one of those at the DC show. They look amazing. And it wouldn't surprise me if coming up in the somewhat near future, you start seeing some more of the Galen line popping up at your favorite pen retailers. So I feel that you're going to be seeing a lot about Galen in the upcoming months. And I feel that their products are worthy and the attention that they are receiving. Thanks again. Go out to Galen for providing these items for review. That's it for today. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.